What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we have Bowers Parks. Me and Andy and Frank are going to do a skins match here. I'm here with my dad.
What's up?
And here we are on hole 1. It's a short 280-ish foot hole, I think. And Andy pulls out a Prodigy M1.
This is a fun little course. Shorts to shorts, just a fun little skins match. Great way to do it.
That was a pretty decent shot, but he pulled it out a little bit. And I know Frank's pulling out his beadless steady here, just going straight at it.
Frank is absolutely one of the best I've seen around this area anyway, with putter off the tee.
He can absolutely crush a putter, and he's really accurate with it. I try to take a lot of the trees on the right side out of the way, and I pull out my Hellfire and throw what I feel like was a pretty good shot.
It looks like it's close to the basket. We'll see in a minute.
Here's Andy. He did pull it off, but he does have a pretty open putt.
At least he's putting up that hill and not down from the other side.
And I guess I just skipped off of that pine straw you see, and I have a 35, 40 footer. Almost make it.
Oh yeah, it was close. Good run though.
And Frank's going to take a really early lead here. Going to grab one skin. Good birdie from him right there.
Great hole. This next hole really sets up fun from the whites. It's a short little about 220, but there's some trees right around the basket that does make it a little difficult.
You can see one of those branches right there. Frank was going right at the basket. He pulls out a breaker. I think Andy's throwing the Quake.
Caleb Bryant signature Quake?
Yeah, that's what this one is.
How about
keeps
that?
2 of them in the bag. That one's more overstable than his other one.
Yeah, that Caleb Bryant run is more overstable than the other Quakes I've thrown.
That's what I'm throwing here, and just throwing it wide and trying to let it skip in.
Ooh,
I thought I hit it.
that was close.
If you go in between those 2 trees, it's an ace run. And I clipped the back one. So here's Andy trying to get a 2 to maybe grab a stroke or just push the hole if we hit one.
Oh man.
Just off to the left a little bit. The putt you see from Frank right here looks like a really easy 20-footer, but it's not. He's got those trees to contend with, so.
Yeah, I seem to end up right there every time on this hole, so I know that's a difficult putt.
I thought he hit it, but definitely not an easy putt.
You can't see the other tree that was blocking the hole. There's more than just that one big pine tree there. Good 2 on your part.
Yeah, it's going to tie me and Frank up at 1 skin each. Hole number 3 is sort of a weird hole. You'll see there's a forehand right on the left, a forehand route on the left, and a backhand on the right. But I take a flex forehand through the backhand route, but I just throw it flat instead of on an ante. So it definitely wasn't good.
Breaker?
Yeah, I go with a breaker here. Frank throws a D-line beadless steady here. Just puts it under the basket.
Something tells me in this short position you're going to hear the words Frank throws a D-line steady several times.
He just throws putters so well. There's Andy with that Quake again, and he throws a little hyzer, so he's going to have a long putt, and so am I. I did not give that any kind of run whatsoever.
Yeah, being your dad, I'd love to say good run, but that looked pretty rough right there.
Here's Andy. Hits off the left side.
Ooh, that was a good run.
Here's Frank with a little drop in. Frank is not going to be easy to beat at Bowers Shorts because he throws putters so well.
Yeah, that is a huge help. But this is an interesting little hole. I'm assuming he throws a backhand here. Of course, Frank does have a decent forehand. There you go.
D-line breaker. He's trying to ace it, I know, because that one's pretty beat in, so he can hyzer flip it. And he just throws it a little too wide. Just clips that one tree. He's got to miss. That was probably going to hit basket if he did not hit that tree.
That'd leave him about 28 feet, something like that.
Yeah, he's edge of circle. I almost throw the beadless steady, try to hyzer flip it right at the basket, but I throw a breaker.
You look like you were excited about that.
It was definitely not. I really wanted to give that a run, and I just hyzered it out early.
I wouldn't figure that. I know you.
Here's Andy throwing a rhino, and he almost gets it to flat, where it would have been a run, but it just hyzers out, but he still got a good putt.
That's not that old Rhino that he's got, I don't think, is it?
I don't think so, because it did not flip. His other one always flips. Here's Frank, edges circle, maybe a little out, just low.
Yeah. You ended up with a little bit of a look at it.
Yeah, it's not an easy putt. The way you can see by the way I'm standing, I was really happy to hit that.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So, if Andy can miss this,
Shake
that's so
my
mean,
head.
but if Andy can miss this, then I will grab a hole. Here, grab a skin. But he doesn't.
Good putt. Good putt. Push on that hole. This next is a little short hole where you right-hand flick around a few trees that are right in between you and the basket.
Yeah, there's a right-hand flick or a left-hand backhand route on the left, which you'll see me and Andy take. And then there's a backhand route over on the right. Yeah, you can throw a little overstable putter. I just take mine wide and grab the ditch, so it's going to be right outside the circle.
Yeah, I would probably take that one on the right. That's what I've taken before. I assume Frank's going to throw a beadless steady down through that route. It's more open than it looks on this video.
I actually think he's going to go with the breaker just for the fade. He did have the beadless steady in the hand, though. He does love the beadless steady. And if you listen, you'll hear it hit the cage. Skipped right up.
Good run there from, what, 35, 37 feet?
Had a tree to go through.
Thank you.
Good putt from Andy. Gonna push the hole.
Frank had a drop in.
Frank did have a drop in. Hole 6 is definitely not an easy hole because it's really dead straight, but you got to take it out wide, so you can't really throw something that fades a ton.
That's going too far right.
It is. He throws a beadless steady right there. Andy is looking at the backhand, but he has a really good forehand, so I think he's going to pull out a forehand with a flippy Rhino. Just kind of go straight at it. Not his best. He was not happy with that.
That one either. One of those, I'm throwing another one, don't care what anybody thinks shots. That looks pretty decent. It's still in a little bit right, it looks like.
It hit a tree too, brought it back in line with the basket, but it's just short. That's just a really good shot from Andy. He was trying to throw it in, he gave it a run.
The show must go on.
While Andy was throwing right there, I was getting attacked by fire ants, so.
Well, they are drawn to you.
Here's Frank trying to get a birdie. Just right over the basket.
Good run, though. More downhill than it looks like on here.
And it's just so different playing skins because it doesn't matter what I do here at this point because the hole is already going to be pushed unless I birdie it, so I just ran it.
This next one's another hole that's a little bit of a turnover to the right or a flick down a little bit of a pipe way. Not the tightest one, but you've got to stay right here.
He goes with that D-line breaker, and it looks a little to the right, but that hill kind of brings it back to the basket. And we looked at it, and we noticed that was parked, so we both had to run this. Which is going to be really unfortunate for Andy when he slips. And he told me that tee pad was really slippy, so I walk up and also slip.
Did you get through, though?
Yeah, I'm under the basket. You can see it's just going to be a push, but...
Well, if you'd have thrown it the way you want to, it might not have been great.
Hole 8's a weird little hole. It's a pitch and putt hole. It's definitely a easy birdie, but you got to miss some of those tiny little trees in the middle of the fairway, just like Frank does. So at that point, we have to ace it. So Andy said he's going to, and hits off the top of the basket.
Wow. Quake?
Yeah, definitely a quake.
Yeah, you just have to maneuver those little short trees.
I tried to give it a run too, but just release it early.
It's less than a stone's throw.
Not short trees, thin trees. But it looks like it's going to be another push.
Yeah, everybody's got drop-ins here.
This next one is a little bit of a interesting hole. Pretty heavy uphill off to the right. You're from right down at the bottom of the hill.
Frank goes with that same beadless steady, just turns it over a little too much.
Yeah, well right and some short. Perfect left-hand backhand hole.
Yeah, and we thought this was great until it hit that one tree. He was going for the inside route.
And they've
there.
left you a pretty good with your flick. You should end up being able to get one on them here.
I throw the torrent just to let it glide up the hill, and I thought there was going to be chains. That was a really good shot for me. I was really happy with it. So Andy's trying to run it because he knows I'm pretty close, and he leaves it just a little short, but it was a great shot. Here's Frank trying to get the birdie, maybe push the hole. And this is just going to be a really big turnaround. I'm going to go from 1 skin to 7, and Frank has 2, and Andy has 0 after 9.
Yeah, that's a great hole for you right there. This next hole is probably the most unique hole on the course, sort of a signature hole off the hill. But this short tee pad is a very difficult line.
I didn't really even throw anywhere close to what you want, but there's a forehand line that I like to take. It'll give me a putt, so I was happy. Frank gets a really good kick off that tree. He throws a hellfire too. I mean, Andy pulls out one of his rhinos, and as a left-hander, it's not easy, and he goes right up the middle, just pures the gap.
Really nice shot.
It was a really good shot from him.
Looks like the mosquitoes were out.
Yeah, it got really bad.
Yeah. So how far is Frank away here?
He's pretty much just an upshot.
Death putt too. You can't see it on the video, but it is a immediate drop off and a creek, a ditch, I should say, behind the basket.
Yeah, I probably would never run this in a casual round just because of how big the drop off is, but Andy's got this drop in, so I was trying to push the hole. But that's going to give him 1 skin, so Andy's on the board. Hole 11 is a really weird hole. It should be just a little easy birdie, but it's not. It's almost a jump putt off the tee.
Yeah, this is like 175 feet, but it is a goofy little line that you've got to hit.
Here's Frank throwing a breaker. Started raining a little bit right here. He takes it way wider than he means to, but puts it pretty close. I'm also throwing a breaker, trying to do the same thing. And if it hadn't hit that tree, I think it was going in the basket. So here's Frank with what should be a pretty easy putt. And turns out not to be an easy putt.
Frank's a solid putter too, just...
That put pressure on me because if I miss this, Andy gets this hole. So I was happy to hit that.
Yeah, absolutely. Andy's under the basket.
So that's just going to push that hole, and we're going to go on to hole 12, which is going to be worth 2. And 12 is definitely not easy either. You can see the light colored tree right in the very middle. The basket is about 10 feet to the right and behind that tree. Andy goes a little long left.
Yeah, and if you hit, even if you hit the line and you hit the hill, it's got a good likelihood of rolling down.
I released that really early.
But you may have stayed up by that other tree near the basket. I don't know. We'll see in a minute.
I'm going to have a jump putt, I think. But Frank just throws it perfect. The only bad thing about Frank's shot is if you hit the hill just right, it is going to roll outside circle. I give it a decent run. I had to.
Looked like you give it a second decent run, but it didn't get caught on camera. Andy's got to look at it.
Yeah, Andy has a weird line. You can't see a lot of the stuff that we have to putt through, but some of these putts have definitely not been easy. He's going to miss that. And you can see Frank did not roll, so he has an easy little birdie here.
Yeah, he got fortunate. I've seen more discs roll off that hill than I've seen stay, but nonetheless, that's good for him. Hole 13 is a really cool hole. Another hole off the hill. This is probably actually my least favorite position on this course.
Me too.
But nonetheless, it is what it is. It's a difficult shot. He looks like he throws one that's going to finish left.
He's long. He threw the quake there instead of the breaker, and I think he should have thrown the breaker.
You need something that doesn't fade crazy.
It kind of needs to glide straight. That's a pretty good shot from Andy. It just clips some stuff and it's going to come up short.
Who knows?
I try to throw the little forehand flex here, but I just throw it a lot of Andy, and it's just going to come up short.
You don't want to mess up your putt.
You can see I'm in there trying to putt. I had a branch that I had to throw nose up under the branch to get to the basket. That putt was terrible, but I do want to say I did make my second putt right there. Andy just didn't film it.
Well, good for Andy, because you shouldn't be throwing second putts.
That was Frank throwing for birdie. Here's Andy.
Oh, wow. We're going to push this one apart. That actually is a very rarely birdied hole. It looks easy on film, but it is simply not.
Hole 14 is my first ace ever.
Talk about me.
Good.
And here's Frank throwing a D-line breaker, trying to give it an ace run. He put a pretty good shot out there. He was just trying to ace it, so he turned it over a little too much.
Yeah, there's one tree that if you can squeak past it,
That one, if he had missed that, that was probably going in the basket
that's the
too.
tree. Yeah, and it's small, but it's got tons of branches off of it.
I'm going with the breaker here, and I thought out of my hand that I hit the tree, but I barely missed it and gave myself a pretty easy birdie. Here's Frank off of his breaker shot.
Oh,
Throws it to the right.
yeah, that could have fallen in. It wasn't a terrible putt.
I had to make that to make sure this hole got pushed. Andy was under the basket. So hole 15, we're getting up to 3 skins now, and it's just a flick. And if you want to ace it, you need to hyzer flip a flick or throw a turnover backhand. But most people just try to throw an overstable disc into the hill and let it just sit. I don't know exactly what Andy was throwing there, but he just threw it too low.
An interesting flick for a left-handed guy. Looks like you put a good line on this.
I did if it hadn't hit that tree. It just dropped right under it. So it's going to be a edge of circle look. Really good run from Andy.
Good run from Andy. I've seen him hit a bunch of those. The pressure of being on film. Frank's taking his time thinking about it.
Just leaves it left. That is not an easy putt going downhill. like that.
No, it's not. It a little bit different in this scenario. Oh, good putt.
Yeah, that'll give me another one and put me to 10. So I kind of just took it right there. But let's see who can get second. Hole 16 is just, for me, I just throw a little flex forehand out. I know I can throw that shot. I'm pretty confident with it. And for a second, I thought I aced it. You can't really see the basket, but that was about where my disc is where the basket is. Frank's going with a quake and just hits the one tree you got to miss.
Yeah, I've hit that tree plenty of times myself. Goofy backhand hole for a left-handed guy.
I'm really surprised he didn't throw a forehand there.
Yeah, Andy has such a great forehand.
That was a really good run from Frank. But I guess that's why he didn't throw a forehand right there.
Yeah, he looks, 20 feet? Easy cleanup.
Yeah, he putted that so weird. I almost missed that too. Would have give Andy a skin, but
I thought it was through. Hole 17 is probably more difficult from this short position than it is from the regular pad, just because look at all those trees. I mean, it's a difficult line, and you just go around. You just don't even flirt with that line.
yeah, I shouldn't at least. You think it's a easy little backhand, but it's not. You have to throw something almost like a sail that just flips up halfway there. It's just, me and Frank are both taking the forehand.
And that's a Kent Schaefer kind of shot that most of us don't have, that flip-up sail shot.
Frank does exactly what I meant to do. He throws a quake, I throw a breaker, and he puts it right under the basket.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
I pull out a blowfly trying to just throw it in, but I didn't.
Well, that's one of those discs that once it hits, it's not going anywhere. So
I didn't get Andy's putt, but spoiler, it missed. Frank got a skin right there. So going into hole 18, it was kind of settled at this point, but we played it because why not? Frank pulls out a Hellfire. It's just a hyzer around the trees, and he throws it just about how you want to.
It's actually 10-6 one because that was worth 2.
The one thing about that is it's not going to glide to the left like you want, so I decided to pull out a Bonsai and just cut it off early. I feel like the Bonsai is the right disc right there.
Yeah, it's a goofy shot because you needed to go up and make an almost immediate left turn and then not fade a ton.
Yeah. He throws a turnover backhand and he puts it pretty close. I had a weird hyzer putt and just pull it out. Great putt. From
Outstanding. Yeah, glad you got that one on camera.
Here's Frank trying to, for no reason at all, push the last hole.
Well, because he's Frank.
Throws a great putt. And
Oh,
it goes
wow.
away.
That was a lot of change. It was definitely Am side was a lot of change.
So I'm going to take the win here. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you liked it, click the like button and use code CalebDGA at DiscGolf.com for 10% off your purchase.